Hello, I'm Tom Parker and welcome to Voices from the CEPS Ideas Lab. In this episode, I spoke with Manuel Heitor. Manuel is a former Secretary of State and Minister for Science, Technology and Higher Education in the Portuguese government, where he served as a minister from 2015 to 2022. He is now a full professor at the Instituto Superior Técnico in Lisbon, where he has developed his research activity in the area of energy and environment with an emphasis on fluid mechanics and experimental combustion. During our interview, we talked about the need for Europe to increase research funding to remain competitive on the global research and innovation stage, and the role FP10 can play. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hi Manuel, thanks for joining us.
It is my pleasure to be here with you.
What do you think is the most transformative change needed to ensure Europe remains competitive in global research and innovation?
We need to understand the current situation essentially about 2 months after the new North American administration and just after President von der Leyen presents the European rearm process. And I see 3 major forcing changes. First and foremost, the trend in the high-level political debate in Europe is towards the idea of having defense as the major driver of competitiveness. And this will only succeed if very much articulated with research and innovation. There is no modern defense without a strong research and innovation across different knowledge areas, but particularly centered in competitive excellence, in industrial competitiveness, in addressing key new and emerging societal challenges, and in building up an adequate European R&D system. My second issue, more and more, is that we need to look more and more to young generations. And now we face in Europe a unique opportunity of developing what we call a Choose Europe program, say a co-funding mechanism, making use of existing schemes under the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions between the Commission and the Member States to attract and retain young adults, because we need urgently to change the so-called European brain drain, which affected Europe over the last 15 years, to an European brain gain. And we have the opportunity for doing it, and we may have tools, but we need investments for that. Last but not least, we need to take risks seriously and consider failure as a step towards success. And we need, for doing this, completely change our assessment and funding schemes for R&D. Is difficult? Yes. We need to experiment new ways of assessing and funding, making use of existing technology like AI, making use of new models which have been tested in essentially private, not-for-profit foundations, but we need to change. We cannot remain with the current European and national systems which take almost 2 years for a time to funding a successful proposal.
Well, you mentioned there turning the brain drain into a brain gain, and you said that Europe has the tools available, but it needs more funding. Is that your main sort of argument
Certainly,
when it comes to...
apart from the report we developed for the Commission, I coordinated a study under the European Network of Universities of Science and Technology, CESAR, and we clearly identify a gap in the funding processes, particularly for those finishing a PhD between 2 and 10 years, and therefore we advise a Choose Europe program to co-fund research careers in Europe. It is totally unacceptable, for instance, that in Italy, a young talent will take 25 years to the top of the career. And this is happening more and more in not only Italy, but also France, Spain, Poland. So we need to strengthen research careers in Europe and act fast. And that is possible just by co-funding mechanisms which exist at a very, very low level currently.
Is that your most compelling argument for why research funding needs to increase, or are there other parts to this?
Certainly there are. We need ideas. We live in times of an accelerated rate of technical change. For example, in the last 3 years, most of the startups funded through the European Innovation Council derived from fundamental research funded through the European Research Council in a very short period of time. And more, the translation of knowledge from fundamental knowledge to a disruptive innovation has been smaller. And we need more fundamental ideas, and therefore we need more in research funding to feed into a system which needs to build its own autonomy and more be independent of our global competitors, either in the United States or in China, but also collaborating more with top science, either in China or in the United States.
Well, what role and how can FP10 better balance supporting breakthroughs in scientific discoveries with addressing Europe's pressing industrial and societal challenges?
We are clear in our reports. FP10, apart from increasing the budget, needs a completely new governance system. We have to address the numbers, particularly what is happening today. Out of the first 3 years of Horizon Europe or the previous Horizon 2020 program, we know today that only 22% of the budget has been allocated to top scientists and recently to top startups with big grants through DRC or DIC. The remaining 78% has been allocated in average by consortiums of 11 partners, where each partner receives only 127K per year. This is an excellent tool to distribute money, to foster collaboration, but it has become a terrible tool to address scientific challenges or industrial competitiveness issues or serious societal challenge. We need to change the governance of the program and use the lessons learned from the RC, which is simply give the power to scientists and top innovators.
Well, Manuel, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for your insight.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to contribute to CEPS all the time.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.